work very hard to pay our staff adequately. So I'd just like council to consider that it's just not this one position that will be affected.
Thank you, Councilman Beltran. Vice Mayor McCurvey, you have any comments?
Yeah, just a follow-up, because I think you raise a great point, because the direction wasn't to give somebody a raise. Director Moore, there's 2 job classifications there, right?
The ones we're talking about here, there's currently an encampment abatement, and then there's a weed abatement.
Right.
Correct?
There are 2 classifications based on what Councilman Beltran's saying?
For the full-time, yes, the full-time weed abatement gets 5% more than the full-time encampment gets 5% more than the full-time weed abatement. There's 2 full-time weed abatement, there's 1 full-time encampment, and then for the part-timers, that's where the dollar raise comes in.
Right, so that's the fee difference, but there's a classification difference too, right?
Have to maybe look to our HR expert. Or
the classification is, excuse me, but the classification is just based upon the rate. So that number classification that they refer to as a 173 or a 178 is referred to the pay classification.
Okay.
If that's what you're referring to.
So the direction that I gave for clarity was that you have 2 classifications under the same umbrella. One gets paid at a higher rate and it has different responsibility. I wanted to make those both the same.
Correct.
That wasn't give one a raise, it was to take the ones that had a lower classification, give them some training so they're at the same classification, and then unify the team. So it's not a raise, it's building the team.
Correct. That's what the item here, but before the council today, what it is a consolidation of the 2 divisions. So you have weed abatement and encampment abatement. It is bringing them together and creating one umbrella, if you would, job description. And so there would be no longer a weed abatement or a homeless encampment abatement. There would essentially be an abatement worker, if that makes sense. In essence, but in doing that, you have the weed abatement team would be brought up, and so given a 5% raise for those individuals, as it's the same classification now.
They don't get a raise, they have more responsibility.
Well, they go hand in hand.
Right.
Yes.
So frame it that way also.
Same responsibilities, right?
Well,
They get paid more because they got more responsibility now.
Yes, but it is equal to greater pay. It's a 5%.
Yes, it is greater
increase.
pay, not a raise.
And in all fairness, the weed abatement crew was doing homeless abatement and helping, or excuse me, not homeless, encampment abatement duties without getting that pay. So
They were getting that pay, but on rare occasions.
So it's basically just changing classification of your job.
It
was created.
Director Moore, can you clarify for that?
Yeah.
Were they was the weed abatement getting a bump, $1 an hour when they were doing encampment abatement?
No, they were
That's
not.
okay, because we had that conversation, and this is where this stemmed from, is in trying to empower Parks and Leisures to be able to be more effective in dealing with the homeless encampments in the city of Porterville, and also weed abatement. This goes hand in hand, and this is making one umbrella a team, and yes, it is a pay increase, but it also is more duties in serving the people of Porterville. Councilman Rivas, do you have any comments?
Quick question.